Hi friends, welcome back to Whatever is Lovely. This week's episode is all about if there's any virtue. When I hear the word virtue, one of my first thoughts goes directly to Proverbs 31 and the wife of noble character. But the word virtue actually means conformity to a standard of right, morality, a particular moral excellence, a beneficial quality or power of a thing, a commendable quality or trait, a capacity to act, potency. And in 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 through 7, it tells us, "For this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, and virtue with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with steadfastness, and steadfastness with godliness, and godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love." Having virtue and living a virtuous life goes well beyond Proverbs 31. The Bible encourages us to add virtue to our faith, to live a virtuous life, to walk uprightly and with integrity. And I think in Philippians 4, it's encouraging us to think about virtuous thoughts, to focus on adherence to the moral law, like the definition, but our moral law is the Bible. And so when we focus on living a Christian life, when we set our mind on things above, as it says, um, we're better able to resist some of the evil thoughts that we might have. We're better able to resist some of the feelings of overwhelm. We're better able to focus on what's most important in our lives, what's most important in our hearts and our minds, and keeping ourselves pure. We're better able to live for others, to give, to do more things, to walk uprightly, even when we feel like we might not always be treated the best, or, you know, things are going on in our lives that we don't like, and maybe there are people in our lives that we don't agree of things that they're doing. We don't appreciate the way that they're acting. We can focus on living virtuously. We can focus on living uprightly, on doing what God tells us to do in all walks of our lives, in all areas of our lives, and that will help guard our minds and keep ourselves unspotted from the world. Also, when you think about the word virtue and the definition as being someone with high moral character, it's hard not to think about the Lord. And so another way that we can add virtue into our life is to have the mind that Jesus had, to try and live the life that he led. Obviously, he led a sinless life, but we can focus on the mindset that he had, the life that he led, um, what's the word? The example that he left for us. And so when we read in Philippians chapter 2, starting at verse 3, it says, "Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of man. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross." Having the mind of Christ and living a virtuous life like Jesus did is so important. And that last part of verse 8 really sticks out to me, where it says that Jesus was obedient even unto the death of the cross. I think that when we have our hearts and our minds set on our faith, that nothing and no one will have us give up the Lord, will have us change directions, will have us leave our salvation. Everything else can kind of fall into place for us. We won't always be second guessing, what should I do in this situation versus what should I do in that situation. Living a virtuous life will be a part of who we are. It'll be ingrained in us. And so while we are not persecuted like the early church was, we probably won't be faced with death for our faith. Um, Having that type of mindset that Jesus had, where it's already decided, already made up that this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm here for, can help us to clear our minds of some of that other negativity, some of that other overwhelm, some of those other things that we might tend to focus on. When we focus on things that have virtue in them, we can keep our minds set on Christ. We can keep our minds set on spiritual things rather than things of the earth. Well, thank you so much for watching. I am so glad that you were here, that you came to study with me today. I hope that this lesson was helpful to you. Make sure that you check out your worksheet that goes along with it, and I will see you in the next video.